Hey, you! You got no business in there. Beat it.
I doubt that's ever likely to change.
That wasn't very clever. People always... That's really not my problem. Same old story every time.
How are things?
Get lost! That was a good hit!
Not my problem. Same old story every time.
If you think.
That won't happen again.
It's the same story every time.
People always talk.
That's really not my problem.
I better keep out of it.
Maybe.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
There must be something about that story.
You looking for trouble with me again?
Get lost.
I'll talk to you later.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
Maybe.
Hey, you!
If you think
Same old story every time.
Rely on somebody and you're in trouble. That's
everything
how
you
it
hear.
Who are you?
I'm Torloff. I was involved in a mutiny as mate of a royal warship. It wasn't such a good idea. The greater part of the crew was on the captain's side. That's how I came to be here.
I'd like to join you.
Lee won't take you on until you get real good. I'm telling you now. And until then, you'd better stay on good terms with Laris and his crowd. You want some advice, boy? Steal something important from the old camp. Or the old mine. As soon as the boys notice that you're against Gomez, you won't have any more trouble here.
And how do I do that?
You need to win their trust, and then you can rip them off.
That won't happen again. People always talk. You have to
Stop!
rely on somebody.
Nobody may pass without the password!
I'd better keep out of it. As long as I'm
That won't happen again.
Do you know where you're heading?
Where?
You're heading straight for Lee, our leader.
Some people never learn.
What do I need to do to make you let me see Lee?
Nothing. This isn't the old camp. And Lee isn't Gomez. He doesn't need an army of henchmen to hide behind. He can defend himself. We are only
Wouldn't like to be
here in
his
case.
shoes, though. Let's talk about something else instead.
You're the boss of the mercenaries, aren't you?
That's right, boy.
I'd like to.
You have a nerve. Do you honestly think I'll just take anybody who walks in here? You can only become one of us after you spent a certain time in the camp. I'll observe you.
Which task do the mage's mercenaries have?
Very simple. Protect the ore, protect the mages. Sometimes the mages have a special task for one of us. That's really not my problem.
It's the same story every time.
Rely on somebody and you're in trouble. That's how it goes.
But keep it to yourself. People don't.
Hey,
know.
a new face.
Who are you?
I am Gorn, mercenary of the
I
magicians.
doubt that's ever likely
People
to
always
change.
talk.
What do you have to do as a mercenary of the magicians?
Lee has made a deal with the magicians. He hires the best fighters to be found in the colony, which means us. We take care that the scrapers can mine the ore without being bothered and keep trouble away from the magicians. The magicians make sure we'll get out of here. And we get a small share of the ore as our pay.
Can I stay somewhere here without having to kick somebody out of his hut?
I don't think so. But if that's really what you want to do, go and see Shrike. He's taken the hut right at the front, at the entrance to the cave. It was empty, but it really belonged to us.
Us?
Well, us mercenaries. Mercenaries and rogues live separately here. And none of Laris's gang should be here, on this side of the big hole. It doesn't make much difference, really, but he didn't ask. And you can't let those rogues get away with everything, because then they get real cocky.
Shrike has moved to another hut.
Good. Torloff just told me that he wanted to have a word with the guy.
You hear.
What do I have to do to join the new camp?
Before Lee admits you, you'll have to improve your fighting skills. It doesn't matter what weapon you use, but you have to be good. Besides, you should be very experienced with the life here and everything. If you don't want to go to the other camps, you should try to join the rogues before you start as a mercenary.
Let's talk about something else.
See you later.
Right. Yeah, there must be something about that story after all.
Must be something about that.
Listening to all the blathering issues, though.
Some people maybe.
It's obvious that there'd be trouble ahead.
Rely on somebody and you're in trouble. That's how it goes. I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
You have to watch what you tell people.
You're from the.
We call it the Brotherhood. I'm Baal Kagan, the sleeper with.
What are you doing here?
Originally, I was sent here to convince people to join our Brotherhood, but these barbarians are not interested in spiritual enlightenment. Therefore, I'm restricted to selling swamp weed. And that is a popular occupation here. Too popular. I can hardly deliver as much as they want to have.
Let's talk about something else instead.
Why don't they send an extra man here?
Baal Isidro was meant to help me, but he just spends all day in the bar on the lake and trades his weed for rice schnapps. He's addicted to the spirit. I fear I cannot expect any help from him.
I could help you sell your weed to the people.
I can only entrust such a large amount of weed to members of the Brotherhood. But you could help me give out gifts. Not everybody has tasted my goods yet. As soon as they've tried the weed, they'll want more, which means I can sell more.
I thought you could hardly manage to do your tasks now.
Baal Isidro will be taken care of soon. I've already sent a message to Korakalam.
What's in it for me if I hand out the weed for you?
I can reward you in many different ways. You can get magic spell scrolls from me, bearing the powerful magic of the sleeper. Or I can help you join our community if that's what you want. I have very good contacts to Kor Kalam and Baal Tyon. Both are very close to E. Baryon, our master. I can pay you with plain ore as well if you prefer. 100 nuggets should be enough for your efforts.
Okay, give me the weed. Who do you want me to give it to?
You're sure to find someone who'll take it. Talk to people, but only give one stalk to each person. One more thing. If you let somebody take the weed from you or if you smoke it yourself, our deal ceases to exist.
Sure.
That's how it goes.
Hang on, better not go rushing into
Do you want some swamp weed?
I'll give you 10 ore for it. Here. Anytime you need to get rid of some more, just stop by.
Let's talk about something else instead.
People always talk.
Do you want some swamp weed?
I'll give you 10 ore for it. Here. And
I better keep out of it.
But keep it to yourself.
Who? Me?
Exactly. Come over here.
You look like you could do with some swamp weed.
You got some? I'll have a stalk for 10 ore. Come back any time, brother.
You look like you could do with some swamp weed.
You got some? I'll have a stalk for 10. Come back.
Listen to all the blathering. Maybe.
You look like you could do with...
You got some? I'll have a... Come back. Well, there was a time when things would have gone...
I have some...
Sure. Come by.
Believe everything you hear.
If you think.
You don't look very agile. I could help you.
If you think.
You look like you could do with...
You got some?
I have some...
Sure. Come by.
You look like you could do...
You got some? You got some?
If you think.
You'll have to watch.
It was obvious that they would be trouble.
I have some swamp weed here. Do you want some?
Where? I don't see no.
There was a time when things would have gone very different.
I've shared out the weed.
The first new customers have already been to see me. What will you have as a reward?
These spell scrolls are quite interesting. What kind of spells are they?
Fist of Wind, Charm, Telekinesis, Pyrokinesis, and Sleep. You may pick 3 of these spells.
I'll take the spell scrolls.
A good decision. Pick. That was 3.
What do you want?
You've just arrived, haven't you?
There are a lot of things you need to know. I can teach you a few things. Besides, you have to watch who you talk to. Butch, for example. That's the guy over there, next to the campfire. Be aware of...
What's the
He has the mean habit of beating up the new ones. So you better avoid meeting...
What can you teach me?
It depends.
How can I improve my life?
I can't teach.
Greetings, magician.
May the blessing of Innos be with you. I can help you to increase your magic powers or give you some useful... What can I do?
You have to watch what you tell people.
I want to...
Maybe. That's really not my problem. As long as I'm not involved. You're very probably right. That wasn't very clever. That's really not the problem.
I want to acquire...
Every time. Maybe. Let's talk about something else instead. If you think you shouldn't believe everything you hear. Same old story every time. As long as I'm not involved, don't listen to all the blathering. That won't happen again. Let's talk about something else instead. Some people never learn. But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it. I thought that'd be cleared up ages ago. Maybe. Maybe. Don't listen to all the blathering, but keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it. People always talk. Some people never learn. It was obvious that there would be trouble ahead. People always talk. I wouldn't like to be in his...
You want to destroy the barrier. How exactly do you plan to do that?
We need major amounts of magic ore. We'll release the entire magic power in a great magic rite to blow up the barrier. Of course, such a big amount of ore attracts a lot of rogues and crooks. That's why we need a man to defend our plan.
I wouldn't like to be in his shoes. Must be something about that story after all.
I'd like...
If you want to join us,
That won't happen again. There must be something about that story after all. But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
Hi, who are you?
It's none of your business.
To yourself.
I don't like your mug.
Need to know it. As long as I'm not involved.
Put the...
Nice fight!
Thought that had been cleared up.
Put the weapon down.
Nice fight!
There must be something about that story after all.
some people don't need to know it.
But keep it to yourself.
Do you...
I buy furs and skins from the hunter.
I'm not listening.
Maybe.
I doubt that's ever likely to change.
That wasn't very clever.
There was a time when things would have gone very different.
rely on somebody and you're in trouble. That's how it goes.
Something else instead.
It's the same story every time.
If you think,
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
People always talk.
I doubt that's ever likely
You're
to
very
change.
probably right.
Maybe.
Oh, I thought that would have
Same
been
old story
clarified a
every
long
time.
time ago.
You're very probably right.
Hang on,
I doubt
better not
that's
go
ever
rushing into
likely to
anything.
change. Must be something about that story.
There was a time when
You shouldn't
things
believe
went
everything
down
you hear.
very differently.
All the blathering.
But keep it to yourself. People
Hang on.
don't need to know.
Better not
go
go
not
rushing into
more.
anything.
Hang on, better not go rushing into anything.
That's really
you
not
think?
my problem.
Let's talk about something else instead.
As long as I'm not involved.
I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
Watch what you tell people.
That wasn't very clever.
Maybe.
That won't happen again.
I'm not listening to all the.
I can show you how to control your body. It's the art of acrobatic. I can't.
I better keep out of it. Let's talk about something else instead.
Step aside!
I have a letter for the High Magician of the Circle of Fire.
We are the magicians of the Circle of Water. The magicians of the Circle of Fire live in the old camp.
But I can't get into the castle. Could you help me?
Well, occasionally we send messengers to our brothers in the old, but we only entrust these messages to Lara's men. He's been seeing to it for many years now that
That's really not my problem.
we cannot afford to spread our knowledge among us. We will not even consider instructing you unless you prove your loyalty to us.
Let's talk about something else instead.
Step aside!
Doubt that's ever likely to change.
That wasn't very.
Same old.
I thought that'd be clear. I'd better keep out of it. There was a time when things would have gone
And we're...
Why?
Forget it.
People always talk.
I'd better keep out.
I'm a scrape.
You don't look like no scraper.
You're very probably right.
How
How much...
100 or no?
Truly spoken.
You have to what?
There must be something about that story after all.
Same old story every time.
Wouldn't like to be
You're
in
from
his
the-
shoes,
Right.
though.
How'd you find that out?
That's not really my problem.
Choose something.
Trouble ahead. People always talk.
Rely on somebody and you're in trouble. That's how it goes.
How are things?
Wouldn't like to be in his shoes.
We trade
though.
our homemade rice. Well, the boys carry in
wouldn't
enough
want to be
ore.
in his shoes,
Where should they spend?
I want.
You'll have to pay for it.
You wouldn't
Keep
want
it
to
to
be in his
yourself.
shoes, though.
People don't need to know it.
Same old story every time.
Maybe. You have to watch what you tell people.
How's.
We put another spoke in Gomez. 3 dead gods and lots of
You're one of the guys who keep raiding the old camp.
No.
I better keep out of it.
That's
What have
not
you got to
really my
offer?
problem.
Let's rephrase that question. What have you got to offer?
Think.
I'm only.
Balor said you'd be interested in swampweed.
I'm not listening to all that
You want it-
blathering anymore.
What have you got?
Let's
Balor said.
There was a time when things would have gone
Same
very
old
different.
story.
Let's make.
What do you want?
You have to watch what you
If you
tell
think.
people.
Well, hang on. Better not go rushing into anything.
I wouldn't like to be in his shoes, though.
Well, there was a time when things would have gone very differently.
Some people never learn.
Wouldn't like to be in his shoes, though.
If you think...
That's really not my problem.
I'd better keep out of it. I'm not listening to all that blathering anymore.
Let's talk about something else instead.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
People always talk.
Rely on somebody,
You have to watch
and you're
what
in
you
trouble.
tell people.
That's how it goes.
I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
Maybe.
Hang
There was
on.
a time when
Never mind
things
go
would have
rushing
gone
into anything.
very...
You shouldn't believe everything you hear. That wasn't very clever.
Wouldn't like to be in his shoes, though. Same old story.
Things would have gone very different.
What are you... I'm making rice snack. Here, have a...
You're very probably right.
How's the distillery going?
I can hardly keep up with these guys. Man, can they drink. That's a good thing, really. While I'm busy, the Rice Lord's lapdog,
Same old story.
Thought that had been cleared up ages
What
ago.
he's a damn swine. His thugs pick on the weak and force... the only one who could stand up to him is Horatio, but he doesn't... Well, I did once hear him say he'd love to smash the Rice Lord's head in, but it'd go against
You
his...
shouldn't believe everything
That
you
wasn't
hear.
very clever.
I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
Hang on. Better not go rushing into anything.
Let's talk about something else instead. That had been cleared up ages ago.
Watch what you tell people.
There must be something.
Thought that had been cleared up ages ago. Let's talk about something else instead.
People always talk.
Happened again.
It was obvious there would be trouble ahead. If you think...
You don't look very...
I'm not. I need to get rid of a whole pile of weed.
You're here to sell goods from the sect camp?
Keep it to
Yes,
yourself. People
but
don't
I
need to
just
know it.
can't be bothered.
That wasn't very clever.
As long as I'm not involved.
I could sell the weed for you for a consideration.
Forget it. I'm not as drunk as all that.
Bring any more.
I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
Here you go. Have another drink on me.
Thanks, man.
Some people never learn.
Well, hang
I
on.
thought that had been
Think
cleared
about
up
it.
ages
Give me the
ago.
weed and we'll share the profit.
No, man.
You have to watch what
That
you
wasn't
tell
very
people.
clever.
I'll tell you something. You have a problem. Bal Kagan will make sure you'll be replaced.
What? The sleeper have mercy on me. I need...
If you think...
Think about it. Give me the weed and we'll share the profit.
Oh, man. I need to get rid of this stuff. You wouldn't try to make me look like...
I give you my word.
Good. Here's this stuff. You should get at least 400 ore for it. That would be 200 for each of it.
Do you know who'll take bigger amounts here?
If I knew that, I feel much better now that I'm...
That's how it goes.
I've sold the weed.
And my 200 ore?
Here it is.
Good. Now I don't give a damn. It was a good idea.
Better not go rushing into anything.
Show me what...
Here.
I'm not listening to all that blathering anymore. But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
You're very probably right.
Maybe.
Same old story every time.
But keep...
As long as I'm not involved.
Keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
Watch what you tell people.
People always talk. As long as... Okay. Oh.
Did something happen? I didn't see a thing.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it. You looking for trouble with me?
How are you, my friend?
Oh man, what do you want?
The peasants look thirsty.
I'll see to it, don't worry.
Same old story every time.
That wasn't very clever.
Put the damn weapon away!
Let's see who's gonna... Sad performance! A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway!
He's had enough!
That was a good hit! Clear winner, I'd say.
People always talk.
Fight!
Rely on somebody in your...
Clear!
He's had enough!
That won't happen.
There must be something about that story after.
As long as I'm not involved.
You should.
Some people never learn.
You'll be sorry for that.
Rely on somebody and you're in trouble. That's how it
I
goes.
better keep out of it.
You have to watch what you tell people. Maybe.
deserved it.
Try that again, and you'll regret it.
Some people never learn.
He's had enough!
You're very probably right.
That wasn't very clever.
Same old story every time. You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
You'll be sorry for that.
You're very...
If you... Keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it. You're probably right.
Wouldn't like to be in his shoe.
You...
I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
You're probably right.
You're
Put the... Let's see who's gonna swallow...
He's had enough.
Put the weapon down.
He's had enough.
Little gust of wind and he would have fallen over by himself.
Hang on. Better not go running into anything.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it. I thought that'd been...
I'd better...
Hang on, better not go rushing into anything.
If you think. I better keep out of it. Maybe.
Hang on.
What?
Nice fight.
Try that again.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear. There was a time...
Rely on somebody and you're in trouble.
I
That's how
thought
it
that'd be
goes.
cleared up ages ago.
That won't happen again.
But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
There was a time when things would have gone very differently.
I'm not involved.
Same old story.
I doubt that they
every
were likely
time.
to change.
There was a time when things would have gone very differently.
Thought that'd been cleared up ages ago.
Maybe.
Some people never learn.
It's obvious that there would be trouble ahead.
There was a time when things would have gone very differently.
What? What do you intend to do with the weapon, man? You're learning.
I better keep out of it.
It was obvious that there would be.
There must be something
Listen
about
to
that
all the
story. If you think...
Same old story.
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
As long as I'm not involved.
That won't happen. Thought that'd been cleared up ages
That
ago.
won't happen again.
As soon as you learn how to acrobatics.
You'll be sorry for that.
That's how it goes.
I better keep out of it. That's really not
Same
my
old
problem.
story every time.
That won't happen again.
That's really not my problem.
Keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
People always talk.
You have to watch what you tell people. You're probably right. Hang on. Better not go rushing into anything. You're probably
it was obvious
right.
that there would be trouble ahead.
Put the...
He's had enough. He's had enough.
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
You'll be sorry for that.
He's had
Didn't see anything.
There was a time when things would have gone very differently.
Hang on, better not go rushing
You're
into anything.
probably right.
Don't listen to all the blabbering.
It was obvious there would be trouble ahead. Some people never learn. Let's talk about...
People always talk.
I bet you're very probably right.
Oh, I'm not listening to all the...
People always talk.
I doubt that's ever likely to change.
A fire!
Yeah, serves him.
I doubt that's ever likely to change. Put the...
Damn. Why did you wake
Put
me
the
up?
weapon...
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
Damn. Why did you wake me up?
Hang on, that's ever right.
Go rushing into
Keep it to
anything.
yourself. As long as I'm not involved.
But keep it to yourself. Thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
Something about that story.
You're very
Let's
probably
talk
right.
about...
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
There must be something about that story I've gone very differently. Listen to all the blathering.
Right.
That won't happen again.
You're
There was a
very...
time when
you
things
have
would
to
have gone
watch
very
what you
Let's
tell
talk
people.
about something else
Keep it to
instead.
yourself. People don't need to know.
That won't happen
probably
again.
right.
Very clever.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
Fight!
Come on, put that thing away.
Same old story every...
The right...
That wasn't very clever.
That story, after all.
Same old
Something
story
about that story
every
after
time.
Something about that story, after all.
Put the sad performance.
Ah, fight!
A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
That won't happen again.
Put the weapon down.
Let's see how good they are.
He's had enough.
The fight's been decided. Hey, you.
I'm not listening to all the blathering anymore.
Something else instead.
Let's talk about something else instead. That wasn't very clever.
You're very probably right.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
Are you?
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
If you think.
There was a time when things.
That wasn't very clever.
If you think on somebody, you're in trouble.
That's how it goes. You're right. That was a time when things would have gone.
You're already dead. You just don't know it.
As long as I'm not involved, trouble ahead.
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
He's had enough.
Same old story.
Maybe. That won't happen again.
I better keep out of it.
I thought that'd be cleared up ages ago.
You'll be sorry for that. Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
You're very probably right. As long as I'm not involved.
Let's talk about something else instead. There was a time when things were.
Sad performance. Sad performance.
Damn.
A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
I'm not listening to all the blathering anymore.
Let's see who's gonna swallow dust soon.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
Ages ago.
If you think.
Sad performance. A tiny gust of wind and he would have toppled over anyway.
It was obvious that there would be trouble.
Sad performance.
Same old stuff. He's had enough.
I better keep out of it.
Damn. I wouldn't like to be in those shoes, though.
There must be something about that story after all.
Let's talk about something else instead.
Let's see who's gonna.
You'll be sorry for that.
Let's see who's gonna.
He's had enough. That won't happen. You shouldn't believe everything you
Rely
hear.
on somebody, and you're in trouble.
It was obvious that there would be trouble ahead.
Hang on.
You have
Better
to
not go
watch what
rushing
you
into
tell
anything.
people.
Hang on. Better not go rushing into anything.
It was
That wasn't very
obvious that
clever.
there would be trouble ahead.
Put the weapon.
He's had enough. Rely on somebody. He's had enough. You'll be sorry for that. He's had enough. If you
I wouldn't like to be in his shoes, though.
You shouldn't believe everything.
That wasn't very clever.
People always talk.
There was.
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
Hey, how's it going?
Do you want to buy something?
You won't have much time to be sorry for it.
I need a few things.
You have to watch what you tell people.
Keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
Same old story every time.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
Really, my problem.
Rely on somebody in your
I wouldn't like to be in
That's
his
how
shoes,
it
though.
goes.
People always talk.
Same old
You have to
story
watch what you
every
tell
time.
people.
That's not really my
There
problem.
must be something about that story after all.
Let's talk about something else instead. Ah, you
Rely on
probably
somebody,
right.
you're in trouble.
You shouldn't believe everything
That's how it goes.
I doubt it's ever likely to change.
If you think,
Maybe. Well, hang on. Better not go
but
rushing
keep it
into
to
anything.
yourself, people don't need to know it.
Some people never learn.
People always talk.
There must be
Some
something
people
about that
never
story after
learn.
all.
To yourself. People don't need to
I wouldn't like to be in his shoes, though.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
Clear winner, I'd say.
Let's talk about something else instead.
again.
But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
Hang on. Better not go rushing
Let's
into
talk
it.
about
Watch what you
something
people
else
always talk.
instead.
You shouldn't believe everything you hear.
Wasn't very
Hang
clever.
on, better not go rushing
Some
into
people
anything.
never learn.
Keep it to yourself. People
Wasn't
don't need to
very
know
clever.
It's obvious
There was a time when things would have gone very differently.
You have to watch.
You'll feel that, bastard!
Now where are you going?
I thought that had been cleared up ages.
Where can I go?
To Laris.
Not involved.
I want to see Laris.
I doubt he'll talk to you.
Just you leave that to me.
I won't stop you.
There was a time.
You shouldn't believe it.
Where do you want to go?
I want to meet Laris.
Laris is here, but you need a good
I'm not listening to all the blathering.
I want...
Many people want to join us. You'll have to make a better offer if you want to pass through this gate.
Well, there was a time when things would have gone very...
Are you deaf?
I thought that had been cleared up ages ago.
What's that supposed to be?